Hi, welcome to Just Ask Sherry. I'm Sherry Mendenhall, and I'm a type 1 diabetic. And many of my friends and people I know who are diabetic have asked me how I know a lot of things that I happen to know. And so I thought I would start a YouTube channel sharing a lot of the knowledge and how I found a great endocrinologist, which took me 29 years, and a lot of the things that I've gone through. So here I am starting my first YouTube channel, and I hope you'll enjoy it. But I have a lot of things to share, and I hope that it will help you or those that you know that are diabetic. I am one of the rare cases who back in 29 years ago became a type 1 diabetic later in life. Usually in those days when you became diabetic at that age, at 40, it was because you became type 2 because you were overweight or something happened, whatever. But I really became a type 1 diabetic. It took me, I think, 5 or 6 endocrinologists before I found one that was worth anything. I went through so many, and they were horrible experiences, and it was just a disaster. First one really taught me nothing other than how to give myself insulin, was very bad at helping me monitor anything or giving me any suggestions. The second one almost killed me because I was very heavy in those days, and they tried to help me go on a diet. They didn't bother to ask me if I knew if I made any insulin or not. And so he said, well, we're just gonna take you off of all carbohydrates and put you on a carbohydrate-free diet and go from there. And so he said, let's start, tomorrow. And so I went off of all carbohydrates and all insulin. And later that night, I thought I had the flu, and at least somehow, some way, something put in my head to call the doctor and say, I don't think I could go through with this right now because I think I have the flu. And he immediately gave me his home phone number and told me to give myself insulin and call him every 15 minutes at home until my sugar came down, because by that time it was already over 400. And basically I was going into ketoacidosis because I made no insulin. But he never asked me. He never checked or asked a thing. So that was the end of that endocrinologist. I went to another endocrinologist, and by that time, like I was waiting every appointment for over 2-3 hours in the waiting room because they didn't know how to schedule. I mean, who doesn't know how? I know how to schedule. I'm in sales, and I know how to schedule my appointments, but everybody sat in the waiting room for 2-3 hours. And I would call ahead and say, how close is he to schedule? How close is he to schedule? And I'd get there, and because I would be the next one in line, and I would still wait and wait and wait until I started to have my sugar drop. And that's when I walked out the door and said, I'm never coming back, and never even saw that doctor. And I said, this is ridiculous. They can't even tell you when. That was that one. I had another endocrinologist who, it was just crazy because one day she yelled at me. Here I am, this adult woman in my 60s, and she yelled at me over something. And I thought, this is not how you talk to a patient. And that was horrible. And I had another one who was himself a type 1 diabetic, and he wouldn't go on the pump. And I thought, everybody who's type 1, or almost everybody, should just be on a pump. But he couldn't give me any information about the pump, and he didn't know anything about the pump, and he didn't want to know anything about the pump. These people are crazy. It was just a nightmare. And I had one that all she did was flip through the numbers on my pump, but never corrected anything, never corrected a setting, never told me maybe you need more in the afternoon, maybe you need more at night, maybe you need less in the morning. No corrections, just flip through the numbers, and that was it. Nobody gave me any information at all until the one I have now, who I absolutely love, and I don't use that word interchangeably like. She is the best, and I won't give her number while I am on YouTube because I don't have her permission, but she is really God's gift to the endocrinology world because she and her entire staff are so amazing, and they have given me invaluable information. But until I came to her, and I'm 67 years old, so I've been diabetic for 30 years, I had to learn so much on my own before I found her. Now I just have to make one phone call and ask one question or give them my numbers from my pump. You know, they plug into my my downloads and they can correct anything. They're amazing. But until then, everything I learned and did on my own. I asked a lot of questions. I went online, I Googled, I experimented, and I learned so much on my own. And it has been a very trial and error kind of experience. I went on the Medtronic MiniMed 21 years ago, and I actually loved that pump. But as the pump progressed, quote unquote, I liked it less. And I didn't find their CGM to be great. I found it was off by a lot. In the old days, I don't know what it's like now because I've been on the Tandem T-Slim now for about 2 years or so, maybe a little longer, I'm not sure. But what I did not like about the MiniMed was I don't think it was designed for women at all, because I wear my pump in my bra, and when you took the belt clip off and put it in your bra, the edges were so hard that it cut into my skin. It was very heavy, it was very thick, and I just did not like that pump at all. And when you called them, while their customer service, their tech support was pretty good, when you would try to tell them the things that you did not like about the pump, and if I would try to write to them or email them, never got a response. There was no interaction, no nothing. They didn't care. They didn't want to hear it. It was just not a pleasant experience. I have found with Tandem, when I have called them, which is rare, they listen. One of the things that I do like is that their upcoming software upgrade is going to be very exciting, because you will be able to bolus from your phone. And anybody on here who doesn't have a pump and doesn't understand what I'm talking about, please see upcoming YouTube videos from me, because I will talk more extensively about pumps and the ups and the downs, and all about the pros and the cons of different pumps that I know about. And I've talked to people about the Omnipod and the newest version, and I've been asked to take part in a trial. Whether that will happen or not remains to be seen, but something new that's coming that has the glucose in the pump itself, so that it will automatically give you glucose if you start to drop below, so you don't have to worry about having glucose tabs on hand all the time. So lots of exciting stuff. I also met a research team, the head of a research team that bought a building. I do commercial real estate, and he bought a building from me, and they're doing research on cells that will automatically be injected and act as an artificial pancreas. And I thought that's very exciting. So there's all kinds of research and studies going on out there that are very exciting for those of us who are type 1. And I think there's just a lot of stuff coming up. But in the future, my hope is to be there for people to answer a lot of questions that took me a lot of trials and errors to find out. And I hope that you will subscribe to my channel. I hope you'll like my channel. I hope I can give you a lot of information in the future, to give you information about why do you spike when you eat a bowl of cereal, you know, just different things that it took me a long time to find out. And I hope that I can give you a lot of that kind of information. But again, if you liked this video, this is the first one. I've got a lot of honing to do and a lot of research to do to make my YouTube channel something that you will enjoy watching, just like I had a lot of learning to do to help my diabetes get below 7 as an A1C, but I do keep below 7 on a pretty consistent basis for the last, I think, 5 years, and I hope I can help you do that too. By the way, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse practitioner, I'm just a lowly diabetic type 1, and I did a lot of research, but don't mistake that for giving you medical advice. You need to see a doctor, you need to see an endocrinologist, and you need to find a good one. And it took me, like I say, all these years, over 20 years to find, after 30 years, to find a really good one. And I hope you can do that too. And I hope I can help you find a way to find that endocrinologist that's going to help you get to where I am now, where I run between 5.9 and 6.4 on a consistent basis. And your health will be better. So I still have problems. Sometimes people who do take care of themselves, I'm 122 pounds thinner than I was when I was at my heaviest, and I was obese for most of my life. I've kept this weight off for 17 years. And I'm very proud of that. And I'll go into that in other videos as well. So you can look forward to me talking about how I keep my weight off. And I don't starve myself by any stretch of the imagination. So I have a lot of things to share with you. And just about aging gracefully. And I have not had facelifts. And I just do what I do. And I'm happy to share all of that information with you. So I hope you'll keep coming back and look for my other YouTube videos, and I can help you. But like and share and subscribe, and I look forward to meeting with you in the future. And please feel free to leave me comments, ask me questions. That's why I'm Just Ask Sherry, and I have an email address that you could send emails to, especially if you want something that's private that you don't want to see in the questions below. Just ask Sherry@gmail.com. So you could send me those. And if you want me to answer them, privately on the YouTube channel, I can do it without putting your name or any kind of information about you in that setting. So feel free to do that as well. Again, justaskSherry.com or justaskSherry@gmail.com. And I'm happy to work with you in the future. Thanks so much.